Why should you actually be interested in the occult, which is what it is that we're studying in this video series? Why should you study it? Why should you care? What difference does it make to an artist? And isn't this sort of thing satanic? You know, we hear the word occult, and so we hear the word cult in that word, and we think that this is somehow satanic. So I'm going to take this on right ahead before we start getting into the actual analysis of the tarot. The meaning of the word occult just means hidden. It means hidden from view. And the issue with this information being hidden from view is because this information is actually quite important. It is secret codified information that is actually being used in order to influence our consciousness without us actually being aware of it. The elites and the power structures at play have known for centuries and centuries what it is that it actually means to be awakened, and to be awakened to what it is that a human being actually is, which is a creator. And this information has been used in order to essentially enslave humanity. And it is because of this ignorance of what Mark Passio, who I would highly recommend looking at his information as well. I'll include a link in the description box. The information that is contained there in his videos and then will be contained on this channel is essentially a deciphering and a sharing of this occulted information. It's to declassify it, it's to de-occult it, it's to make it available for everyone in a way it is that anybody can understand and can come to the understanding that this information has actually been used to manipulate us, and it's only from the ignorance of this information do we become open to being manipulated. Okay, so the occult is something that is very important to study, especially if you are somebody who is creative. Because if you're coming across this video, if you're coming across this topic, there is a lot of things it is that you can draw upon in the tarot, and then you can communicate that to other people. And through the process of understanding the coded language of the tarot, and understanding what it is that it really means, and understanding that it's just a form of technology, it's a form of understanding that could be used for both good or for bad, depending on somebody's intention. By understanding this, you make yourself impervious to being manipulated by other people. You begin to get what it is that Christ, and what it is that Buddha, and what it is that any enlightened sage throughout history has really been trying to teach humanity, which is your own sovereignty. See, all of us are divine co-creators. You know, we hear the term, that we create our reality. You see a lot of these terms get thrown around in New Age groups. That is true to a certain extent, right? We create our reality, but it has more to do with the fact that we create our reality in the sense of the aggregate, as a collective. As a collective, we have created this system of control, this system of fear, the system of war, the system of oppression that has completely caused so much suffering in this world. So it is only through the sovereignty of the individual, this is what it is that Christ taught, and this is what it is that is learned whenever it is that you go down any kind of true spiritual path. The ultimate endpoint is your own sovereignty. It is the understanding that whenever you stand with the divine creator, and you stand in alignment with the divine creator, then you are standing in your own sovereignty, and nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can get you to do things it is that you don't want to do. Work at a dead-end job that doesn't mean anything for you, because that's the way this world is set up. This world is set up to keep us stuck. It's set up to keep us under control and to keep us completely blind to that fact. And the truth is that it's about to get way, way worse, because now we have things like artificial intelligence, where it is that governments are going to be able to surveillance, they're going to be able to take this surveillance state to the next level by being able to uh, take away your money, block your money, depending on what it is that you're looking at in terms of what it is that you consume on social media. You know, we just had a situation just happened a couple of years ago where we saw that they had the ability to shut down everything and make people go into their homes. And now that was all a preliminary for the next thing it is that they want to do. And you can go and you can look all this up, Bill Gates and the 2030 New World Order sort of establishment reset that they want to do, where it is that they want to keep everybody basically under lock and chain. They want to be able to control what it is that you say online, what kind of information it is that you look at. They want to be able to control how much it is that you drive your car, how much meat it is that you eat. They want total and absolute control over every aspect of your life. So if you don't want that, then it is important to actually understand occult information, because the occult information is something it is that these people are very much aware of. They are very much aware of how it is that these things work. And so in this series of videos, I'm going to show you how it is that the occult puts in these different, what Mark Passio would call natural law. And these are basically the different governing laws that make up what reality creation is, how it is that we end up creating our own reality. Some of us will know this by the term Hermetic law, um, and there's other names for it because the information is neutral, yet it has been associated with things that people would consider to be satanic, but in actuality, once we get into it, you understand that there's nothing satanic about this, and in fact, the idea that this information is satanic is something it is that is put into our minds in order to keep us from looking into it. And this is another one of the tricks it is that they use. You know, again, if I use what it is that just happened with the jab, that we're going through right now, we're now seeing that the CEO of the Visor was he just came out and said that there was no such thing as an epidemic, that COVID wasn't even real, and that 17 million people have been killed by the shot. Okay, that's not me. That is the former CEO of Pfizer. Okay, who's telling you that it wasn't even a real thing. All they were trying to do was trying to put this shot into people, and its goal, specifically, according to Bill Gates, was to depopulate the world. And Bill Gates had talked about this openly years before. So what it is that we're doing in this series is that we are coming to an understanding that this occulted information, it is oftentimes hidden in art. And that's what it is that I think is very interesting about being an artist. And what's so important about being an artist is that the divine often speaks through creativity. You know, there are many archetypes in stories. There's many archetypes that get expressed in stories. You have the archetype of the old man, the wise old man, or the archetype of the villain, or the archetype of the fool, which might be, you know, somebody who's going on an adventure, or like the protagonist. But then you have other archetypes, such as the child. And the child in a story or in a work of art, when you look at art in general, or you look at the function of a story, which is something we're also going to get into with the tarot, what it is that you see is that the child is always the one who speaks the truth. The divine child, if you think about Jesus, or you think about, there's plenty of movies that I can't think of any right off the top of my head, but children and stories usually serve as an example of those who actually see the truth because they see the world for what it is without all of the conditioning and all of the blinders that are put over the adult's eyes from all of the conditioning it is that we go through school and through work and through all the social programming it is that's thrown on us, all of which to keep us basically in the dark about what it is that we actually are. So I say this because that is the interesting connection it is that that art has with this information. The more it is that you begin to decipher the work of great artists, the more you will begin to see that the voice of the divine comes through in this kind of childlike, playful manner. And this is specifically there to teach us. It's there to teach us to understand what it is that it means to live by natural law. And when we live by natural law, which is what it is that we will explore in this tarot series, then our lives become organized in a way that it is divinely aligned. And when our lives are divinely aligned, the more people who live their life from a divinely aligned position, then the more we will have our freedom, the more we will have our sovereignty, and we will not have to deal with these motherfuckers who are constantly trying to control everything it is that we do. But in order to do that, there's work that has to be done. There's things that have to be accomplished. So now I'm going to go ahead and in this next video, we're going to start our analysis series. And thank you for taking the time to look at this.